Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, what details are the devil in exactly? Subscribe if you're new to the channel because today we are reviewing HBO's Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 5. We light the way. Is that right? I think that's right. All right, so this was directed by Claire Kilner again. It was written by Charmaine de Grotte. Grotte? I don't know how to say the accent and stuff because I'm a stupid American. And then it aired this yesterday, September 18th. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about with this episode because there's so much stuff going on, and it's kind of crazy how intense this show ended up being. This particular episode specifically. It was like a slow build, and then as the episode kept progressing, the tension started mounting, and it just got, well, it got to a point where it had to explode, and you could just feel right when it was about to hit, and then bam, it just goes insane. So it was a great episode. I love this show so much. It was amazing. All right, so first off, we pick up in Runestone, and it ends up being Rhea, Prince Daemon's wife that he has never consummated marriage with, that he's never even gone to go hang out with, but he goes up to Runestone to see her, and it turns out he's showing up to see her to get rid of her. And I can't tell 100% if that was the intention going in, or if it was because she was being so overtly aggressive toward him. I'm leaning into like he was there to sort of put her down, but then he didn't actually kill her until she kept talking shit after he caused the horse to sort of fall back onto her. So I don't think he went in going in thinking that he was going to murder his wife. I know he wanted to get rid of her in some way. And hopefully he was probably thinking that based on the wounds, wildlife would get her or she would die of exposure or something. But it ended up, he just ended up smashing her head in with a rock, which is pretty brutal even for him. Just crazy. And he looked a little bit like Luke Skywalker from that shitty sequel series show, The Last Jedi, where Luke Skywalker looked like an asshole. That's what Prince Daemon looked like, a straight up fucking asshole. I mean, he almost always does anyway, but really, in that outfit, it is unbecoming. You just look like a dumbass. Anyway, it was really quick, and we don't see him again until the very end of the episode. But then we also see Prince Viserys sick as hell. We see his health declining every single episode, getting just progressively worse and worse and worse. So much so that now he is literally on death's door. I think next episode, this coming Sunday, I think is probably going to be the last time we see him, just because it's getting so bad. But he's going to, where are they headed out? They're headed to Driftmark in order to see Lord Corlys, because Lord Corlys is apparently a straight up asshole, and he's forcing the king to come to him. Now, his excuse is that, I just came back from the Stepstones, and so I didn't have a chance or anything, but they didn't have any of the house waiting out for him, the king, to arrive. And if the king shows up, you need pomp and circumstance. That's what you do. And to not give it is just blatant disrespect. King Viserys accepts that is what they're saying to him, but he's willing to sort of look the other way because he needs to bind this union between the Valerians and the Targaryens, because let's be honest, the kingdom is not going so well right now. You can see the machinations already happening behind the scenes of once Queen Rhaenyra takes over, the kingdom's going to fall apart. And so he's doing everything he can to put her in the best possible position of that not happening in the first place. And that means getting all the dragons and all the ships from the Valerians to swear their fealty through their own son to Rhaenyra. So he goes there and he, basically says, look, your kids can be Valerians up until the point that they ascend to the throne, and then they have to adopt their blood name of Targaryen. And that's enough that Lord Corlys is like, okay, well then, Rhaenyra can marry my son, Laenor. And so Rhaenyra and Laenor go for a walk, and they're like, "Look, I get it. Like, you're gay." Speaking to Laenor, because Laenor has a boyfriend, and Rhaenyra's like, "And I like stepping out. Like, I listen to my uncle, and he says that marriage is just a contract thing, and sometimes I want to have sex with my uncle. Sometimes I don't want to have sex with a random person in a random brothel, or maybe my Kingsguard. I don't know. Who knows? But let's make a deal." We'll have sex to have heirs. I know you're not going to enjoy it because you're gay, but we'll do it just to have heirs. And then we just do whatever we want, right? We don't have to be confined by this organization of marriage anymore. And Laenor was like, fuck yeah. Like, yes, please. Let's do that. Because he doesn't even like girls. So, what does he care? And he's desperately in love with the Knight of Kisses, his boyfriend. And, more power to him. That's great. Till the end of the show. So then we cut over to the Queen and Queen Alicent, and she pulls in, what is his name? Sir Criston Cole. I was like, I got notes, so I'm like looking through my notes. She pulls in Criston Cole, and she's like trying to get out of him that Rhaenyra did in fact sleep with Prince Daemon, because she had some other random dude sort of whisper in her ear that they had that abortion drink brought to her. So she's like, oh, that little bitch lied to me. And so Criston Cole, who is a straight up fucking idiot, outs himself saying, oh no, I did have sex with her, it was all me, sorry about that. And she wasn't even finished questioning him. Like, he's the dumbest fucking person ever. Look, I'm not saying that you should ever have an affair or ever sleep with someone that you're not supposed to sleep with. But if you do, make sure they're not fucking idiots. First and foremost, because if they are fucking idiots, they will tattle. Straight up. Just like Criston Cole did. Bitch. So he tells her everything, and now Alicent knows that not only did she not actually sleep with Prince Daemon, but that she stole the virtue of one of her Kingsguard. They swore her celibacy. Like, that's a big deal. And Criston Cole had nothing until he did that. So, Criston Cole is like approaching Rhaenyra saying, look, if you don't want to go through this whole rigmarole and marry this Valyrian guy that you don't even like, why don't we just go run to Essos? We'll live on the lam, and it'll just be you and me, and we can be free. And Rhaenyra's like, fuck that. I'm a queen. I'm going to rule the kingdom. This is my job, man. And, just blowing him off. And he's like, so you just want me to be your whore? Like, I don't want to be a whore. It's like, but you kind of let yourself be one, dick. Like, this was your doing. You could have just not fucked her. It is always an option. There might have been consequences, but now you could actually be gelded. You could have your shit cut off for having slept with Rhaenyra. So he tells Alicent, like, look, I did. Please don't geld me. If you have to punish me, just kill me. And she's like, just get out of here. She's going to use him later, politically. So now Alicent is pissed off at Rhaenyra because she didn't confide in her like friends are supposed to. And there's this big this gap, widening gap between them that's just becoming insurmountable at this point. And then the king puts together the wedding feast before the wedding ceremony. And he has pomp and circumstance of all the different houses coming in and making a big to-do. He's in the middle of giving a speech, and Alicent is nowhere to be seen. And then suddenly she comes in and interrupts his speech, wearing green, which for the Hightowers means war. And then she comes up and says, hello, stepdaughter, talking to her former best friend, Rhaenyra, letting you know I am no longer your friend, and whatever happens from here on out, it is war. My son will be the king as soon as this old dead man dies. Just blatantly straight up saying it without saying it, which is brilliant. And like a fucking idiot, the Lord of Kisses, or the Knight of Kisses, Laenor's boyfriend, goes over to Criston Cole and says, hey, look, you're into the queen. I'm into the king, the will-be king, and will-be queen. How about we work together to make sure they're safe, and, our secret will be secret. And he's already been outed by Alicent. And now this rando dude knows? Like, who else is going to find out about him like completely forsaking his vows? So he sort of goes crazy. And so he's battling with himself, trying not to look like he's hot and bothered for Rhaenyra, but he can't help it because he is. And we see this big dancing party happening, and ultimately Prince Daemon is approached by Sir Gerald Royce, the uncle or cousin of his now dead wife, saying, "I know you did it, you dick, and you're gonna pay." And Damon's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know anything about what you're talking. I didn't kill her at all. It was a hunting accident. I wasn't even there. And by the way, she was going to inherit all of Runestone. Now I get that because I was her husband. So gimme, gimme, gimme." And the dude's like, "Fuck, damn it," and walks away. And then Daemon is lusting after Rhaenyra, his niece. I mean, she's grown into a fine young woman, and, you know, the Targaryens do as the Targaryens do. And so he goes down there and he's like almost straight up making out with her. And she is like threatening him straight up. Like, "If you want me, you need to abduct me over to Dragonstone and we get married there. And go ahead, do it. Do it. I dare you. If that's what you want to do, do it." And then Criston Cole loses his goddamn mind. He can't hold it anymore, and he beats the shit out of Laener's boyfriend the night of kisses. I mean, concaves the kid's skull in. Completely murders this poor fucking kid who was thinking that he was just helping him. But Criston Cole couldn't go, he couldn't deal with his conscience. He couldn't deal with the lust. He couldn't deal with anything. And that was just a little too much to have that dude approach him. Beats him to death. The huge mob, they get Rhaenyra out safely, and like Laenor is looking at his dead boyfriend, losing his goddamn mind. So people are obviously leaving. There's blood all over the king's the wedding reception room, wherever they are at this feast. And the King Viserys is like, "Look, I'm dying here. We got to do a shotgun wedding because this is ridiculous. Like, this is just gonna, if we don't get them married, this entire thing is gonna fall apart." So they have a shotgun wedding. No one's happy. Everyone's miserable. So Criston Cole goes over to the Old Forest and he's about to commit Harry, and Alicent Hightower comes out and stops him. She's clearly going to use him against Rhaenyra, and Criston Cole's going to go along with it because Rhaenyra basically forsook him. She didn't want to go with him when he asked her to go. She doesn't want to see him. She's getting married. She clearly wants her uncle as well, and he doesn't just want to be a whore to her. And so he's just sort of devastated. So you know he's going to be hooking up with Alicent, not sexually, but politically, and they're going to be working together. So we have this huge fractured kingdom at this point that it's almost as if nothing has overtly happened at this point, right? Like, the kingdom is still intact. You know, it's all king and queen and everyone's happy so far. But you can see so many cracks in the foundation that you're just waiting for, like a Jenga. You know, you're waiting for that one block to be pulled out and the entire thing is going to tumble. And it is just on that doorstep. The tension, the fallout, it is all about to happen. And it is so good and intense. And the politics of this show are so incredible. So Prince Daemon, he's going to try to get Runestone. I suspect they're probably going to do a little bit of, you know, legal mumbo jumbo kickback because he never actually, like, unified the marriage by actually having sex with Rhea. Like, he never did. They famously never consecrated their marriage. So they might use that against him in trying to keep Runestone out of Prince Daemon's hand. But Prince Daemon and Rhaenyra are clearly into each other. I mean, they are just like that close to fucking. And then Laenor doesn't give a fuck about Rhaenyra, but he's going to do his duty to his house and have sex with her to hopefully impregnate her. And if they have a kid, then that will secure their claim because they are the queen and king regent and they will be able to, you know, have that heir. However, Alicent Hightower already has a son named Aegon after the Aegon who came and unified Westeros. So she is at this point, you know, she was all with Rhaenyra until Rhaenyra lied to her about the sex. Now it's on. She doesn't want anything to do with Rhaenyra anymore, and she wants her son to be king. And so she is going to go to the mattresses. That's right, people. Godfather references. She's going to go to war in order to keep this kingdom under her control, no matter what happens to King Viserys. And we get this really beautiful moment with King Viserys. You see this, like, it looks like stone skin. I don't know if that was a poultice or something that he had on him, but basically he's just rotting away, dying, and he's like, "What is my legacy at this point? What am I here for? Like, I didn't conquer anyone. I was never given a chance to test my mettle as a king in conflict." And his new hand is like, dude, that's the best possible case. Like, you're going to be remembered as a peace king. You maintained Jaehaerys' kingdom for him. Like, you maintained peace and prosperity in the realm. That's the best legacy you could have. And he's like, I'm on the doorstep of death. They're not going to say shit about me. You know, his legacy in his eyes is just horrible, which is just not true. It's still going to be a legacy of peace and prosperity for the realm, and that's a good thing. But I definitely understand, you know, you're faced with your own mortality, you're faced with your imminent demise. You're just hoping every day to live another day. You know, they're draining him with leeches, and they're making him drink opium in order just to get to sleep. I mean, this guy's hard up. King Viserys is not in a good place. The High Towers are all solidifying their power, and they're getting ready to back Alicent's play for the throne as soon as the king dies. Old Town swore loyalty to Alicent, so she has more families and more resources to solidify her claim. And the men of the realm don't want a woman. You know, Rhaenys already straight up said that they'll burn the kingdom down rather burn it down than have a woman as the ruler. So we know war is coming. And it is like, is it next episode? Is it the episode after? We're at the halfway point of this series of this first season. Shit has to be turning. I'm guessing next episode we're going to have the king die. This is just me speculating. The king is going to die, and that's when war breaks out between them. This is going to be the civil war of the Targaryens, where there's the black or the red coats. And it is going to just go insane from there because they're doing massive time jumps. This is the last that we're seeing of the current actresses who are portraying Alicent and Rhaenyra. They're going to be moving forward with the older versions of them and the new actresses. And they're already going to be having had their children. So Aerys is going to be much older. And hold on, sorry, I got to allow this. So Aerys is going to be much older, and then what's her name? Rhaenyra is going to be much older with her own infant, probably. So, but again, it's not going to end well. It's not going to be a happy ending. You know, as soon as their kids start coming of age, you're going to start seeing war breaking out for everyone, and that's going to be a frustrating experience, to say the least. Just, you know, it's ultimately going to come down to us choosing sides, because there is no good and bad, you know, and that's something that we all have to sort of wrap our heads around. You know, we're presented with Rhaenyra being the sort of the good person, the person to sort of champion, but she's going to be starting to do things that are going to challenge your loyalty to her as a viewer. And that's when you have to really look at this Game of Thrones situation and realize that, yes, in the first one, we were all backing the Starks because they got the short end of the stick. In this particular case, it's all Targaryen. There is no good guys. There is no Starks to back. Like, this is all the same family just warring with each other. And it's going to get nasty, like really nasty. And I'm not looking forward to some of the stuff that came out in the books that may or may not come out in the series. But they're not pulling punches either. They're not afraid to challenge the audience. And that's what I love so much about this series as a whole, and particularly this episode. They will get gory and brutal and raw. And they don't pull punches. They're not trying to pussyfoot around it or tiptoe around it, because modern sensibilities are so much more delicate and pearl clutching than, you know, even just a few years ago. No, they're leaning in, saying, this is what it's like, this is how it was written, and this is what we're going to show you on screen. And we just have to deal with it or not watch. And I love that we're dealing with it, or I'm dealing with it anyway. I hope you are too, because it's an amazing show right now. Kristen Cole's going to betray Rhaenyra. Alicent's going to betray Rhaenyra. I think Daemon's going to side with Rhaenyra. So who does, Alicent has all these families already vying for power. Now we know that the Valerians, now they're married, Valerians and the Targaryens are going to be unified, and they have all the dragons. They have all of the ships. But if Alicent's kid, Aegon, gets a dragon because he's a Targaryen, then we're going to have dragon battles, which is going to be awesome to watch. Dragon battles. I can't wait to see that. It should be pretty interesting. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think between the politics, between the raw brutality of this cutthroat world of the Game of Thrones in Westeros, I'm at the edge of my seat. Like, I cannot wait for the next episode at the end of every episode. It's that good. And you guys know I'm watching Rings of Power as well, and it's just nowhere near the same ballpark. Like, you have House of the Dragon up here as far as like the best thing on TV, full stop, and then everything else below it. It's not even a close comparison. It's so intense and so amazing. I didn't think that, I really didn't think I was going to like this show as much as I liked Game of Thrones the first 4 or 5 seasons. I do. I like it just as much. Not more, because I do miss the Starks and I love the Stark family and stuff. But this is good. This is great storytelling. I can't wait to see where it goes. Thank you guys so much. That's all I really had for this episode. Great episode, and it's leading into chaos, and I love it. So, thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. And as always, remember, like it or not, evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there and be evil.